Well, goddamn, here we are. That was Bloodstorm, obviously, with Spell of the Burning Wind. So, what's up, everybody? Good to see the regulars in the chat already. As I mentioned in the chat, if you have one of your social media thingies, if you could share the link and tell everybody to come hang out, I'd appreciate it. I know Chris would appreciate it. You're probably wondering, you ain't Chris. The fuck out of here. Yeah, I know. I agree. He'll be here in a second. Calm down. What's up, Celestine? What's up, everybody? But before Chris comes out, build a little, excitement. Get that excitement going. Ooh. Trust me, I know the playlist. Whoo! Get ready. Like Pete says, we're all gonna be dead. You're all gonna be dead. So, before I get to that, real quickly, gotta go with some Misadris. Want to say I got some stuffs in today from Procreation Metal Distro out of South Texas, and I got a Violence demo CD thingy. Gonna listen to that probably soon, and also fucking Paradise Lost demo CD. What the fuck? Hell yes! So excited to get those. But I want to give a special shout out to the man that yells out his window and tells everybody, Joaba is starting. That would be Bloodstone. Got a unexpected package in the mail today from Bloodstone. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Who is this? What is this? And so I open up the box, and there's a VHS tape in there. I think it says like some immolation live show, probably from Houston, I would imagine. You can't really see it because there. A VHS tape. And it only gets better. Also, for those of you that have been, can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear check this out. He included a mini WD-40 can, so I can get rid of the squeaking. So that's very, very kind and thoughtful of you. Appreciate it. You fucking rule. This shit made me laugh, dude. When I opened this, I laughed my ass off. And it just gets better. All right, so everybody that's been watching knows I drink the shit out of these all the time, right? Drink the shit out of these. Watch. Fucking V8 Benji knows. He sent me a fucking 6-pack of it. 6-pack. Fuck yes, dude. Thank you very much, dude. You rule. That was awesome. Totally unexpected. Very kind and generous of you. So if anybody wants to send me a fucking 6-pack of V8 Mango Peach, go right ahead. Ooh. So hell yeah. Thanks, Bloodstone. Everybody give it up to Bloodstone in the chat. Bloodstone rules. All right. Enough about that. Time to start the show. Just wanted to give a shout out to Bloodstone. Let me bring on the man of the hour, one and only Chris G. Misadris.
Hello, Francesco. It's good to be back here tonight with all of you for 1985. I'm ready for battle with this one, man. Ready for battle. Ladies and gentlemen, middle of that decade, wow, just nothing but just volcanic energy through and through. Not a weak bone in any metal body.
Fuck yeah. Bloodstone, I did get it. I didn't mention it but I did get it. So I'm going to leave you now, and this is going to hand the show over to Chris. So that's what you guys are here for. So enjoy, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, welcome back again to 1985, everyone. Far and wide, thanks for having me on here again. And let me go through the journey. Hitting middle of the decade, 1985. There's just, it seems like an endless wealth of brilliant bands and albums, sophomore albums coming out that even defined when the band started even more. I mean, it just crushed more. It made you want to pick this thing up and start swinging it in the street at everybody that just got in your way. That wonderful energy that heavy metal music gave in that decade. 1985 was nothing short of extreme. And I really think that this decade is the one that really, I think, created all the subgenres I started seeing in magazines. You know, you started seeing black metal tossed around more, death metal being tossed around now, thrash metal, speed metal, power metal. I remember it all. Plus the crossover hardcore into heavy metal. Everybody had a brilliant bond in unity. If you were into extreme music and if you were rebellious, this music bonded you to your friends, to your neighborhood, those of you that you had close alliances with, be it at school or on your block. And those alliances were very devout. And for myself, the devout came from the music. It definitely did. Majority of my friends, we were all heavy metal maniacs. So once again, I was growing more and more. I mean, after 1984, you know, hearing Celtic Frost, and just, you know, getting that was such a huge eye opener for me. It definitely opened my heart to a much deeper, blacker void of just musical, extreme, sort of horrid plethora of creativeness. It seemed to be there was no limit to what you could do in music. And then by the time we hit 1985, the journey just continued. And from 1984 and 85, I went from freshman to a sophomore into high school. And I was still in Catholic high school, not favored, as I spoke to you people once before. I had this, on the back of my jacket, and I got in trouble for it. Not that exact patch, but I had the name written on top of it. And that just caught everybody's attention for the wrong reason, for the wrong people. So yes, you go and you spite the people that condemn you. You spite the people that judge you. You spite the people that have you under suspicion over and over again without knowing the individual and the potential that you have. You know, it was as if my youth was sort of trying to be blocked from the outside world, but not in my family, which was a beautiful thing. Because also in that year, I've been going to an art school here in Philadelphia, and I started crafting not just my, sort of thinking to try to write, but I was always an artist when I was a child, and I wanted to hone my skills in more. And my love of comics and sci-fi movies and horror, like Beastmaster, the Terminator just came out, so everybody was a cyborg. You've seen it in albums left and right? But I always ventured into the wonderful, chaotic past, the societies, the civilizations, the social structure of hardship in places around the world and in the medieval area. It became so forefront and fascinating to me. And then combining the music with that, once the wintertime, January 1985 hit, it hit me in an even more darker and deeper extreme form when I realized that the vision of having medieval themes that had more dark and somber and nihilistic society to it, an underground rebellion. I just had all these things welled up in me. And now I'm seeing more bands pop out of Europe, and my vision of the first Black Knight on an album cover came true. And I played this album with glory. And this band is out of Germany, and it's got me to love my medieval ancestry even more. just hearing the beginning song from start to finish on this EP. This is Sodom's Outbreak of Evil! Yes, Sodom was a whole new level for me in 1985. I want to introduce to you my medieval horseless mounting claymore sword. This was a gift given to me by an old friend of mine. And on the hilt, it has the cross, and on the back, it has ora pro nobis, which I understand means pray for us. But pray for what? Quick, painless death? Pray to be severed from the guilt Christianity ties in battle? Die with some pride and honor? Or pray for me for the one that's being slayed by a future necromancer? However you want to look at it, up in your imagination. But these things I thought about all the time, because getting into art school and combining the extreme music made me even more deeply interested into researching a lot more when it comes to music and how it affects, your environment and your social gathering, the people you cultivate around and have relationships with. And it becomes such a wonderful thing for a person like me that music spoke to me and made things so much more possible with my heart and my imagination, my creativity and my mind. It gave me the freedom. I was able to be a rebellion without having to answer to anybody or anything. And now, and I think all of my friends growing up felt the same way about our music. And also another thing about the sword, when I was first starting off Bloodstorm playing live, I used to light this blade on fire, swing it around. I even had it in the video. So anyway, this is my Horse's Man Claymore sword. Nice gift given to me, just as much as my battle axe was too. So thank you to my dear friend Hank years ago for giving me these medieval weapons. So I mentioned something about my ancestry. So for my bloodline, for my family, I'll just put this out there. I'm basically a European mutt. German, Irish, Scandinavian, and Romanian too, I believe, on my mother's side. So I'm pretty much a European mutt. So an interesting thing, because this next band I'm going to play also comes from Europe. And I was seeing so many things. I was getting to know things more, I guess, just so much more rich Europe was becoming when this music was coming out after the introduction of Celtic Frost and Destruction and, Running Wild, other bands that I played from last year. You're seeing it more now, as I say, and more of it's coming out. It's finally surfacing more. So this next pick is also from Germany. And part of the big German four that everybody seems to coin it, I just call them probably the best. They're probably, to me, the best technical speed thrash band that I thought of at the time period in 1985. I didn't think nobody did it better when I heard them, especially when I heard the previous release the year before. And as a three-piece band, to me, it was amazing what three-piece bands could do. Sodom was just another proof of it. And this band that I'm going to be introducing next finally had their full-length album out. And the cover alone and just the titles of the songs, how could you not love it? When you have a rebellious spirit, this music it empowers you so richly with the tools you need to maneuver through society with the aggression, intensity, and passion that music gives us, that beautiful gift. And coming out of Germany, again, coming strong, is Destruction with Invincible Force. Yeah, destruction. Schmear's voice, how influential. He was so influential to me to want to actually really sing high like that. The intensity behind the guitar sound that Mike was riffing is brilliant. The drumming, the double kicks. I mean, that sound is it's phenomenal hearing it for the first time. Because like I stated before, when you hear these things for the first time back in those days, you definitely didn't want nothing less than what you were hearing right at that moment. And just Germany was really proven to be I remembered as the new thrash metal capital of the world. I can remember hearing that tossed around, and I can understand why it is. Because there's no denying the talent and skill of these bands that were popping out. And especially in Europe, we're finally starting to see them. And they're coming over into America, and they're getting notoriety in the underground, and they're really making great waves. So Germany was doing a fantastic job in the metal scene in 1985 because, they kept rolling with band after band in that year. And I know I can't get to them all because it was extremely difficult to shift to about 45 albums that I was going through to pick only 15 tonight for the show, people, but I did my best. So, staying also in Germany, no surprise here, because this next band is also highly influential. I mean, I can't, that word is it's like a broken record, me saying that, because these bands in Germany definitely were highly influential. In my opinion, Sodom was the start of war metal, what people are calling war metal today. To me, it's Sodom. It was that EP that started it. And that's how I see it. Sodom was the one that started that, because Angel Ripper had his influence of Motorhead, and you could hear the Venom in it. So it was a great combination. Destruction, when I did meet Destruction, and I was a roadie for them when they did their comeback tour, I talked with Schmear and Mike when I was driving them, and I discussed the music with them, and they said Metallica was their first thing like that went off in their head that they want to do. But they took what Metallica did and did it even better. It had that, I guess, the great European influence of heavy music. But this next band was also considered part of Germany's Big Four. And this was their debut album. And this is my favorite song off of it. It has the greatest double kick, in my opinion, for this year in 1985. This is my favorite double kick song off of the album. And it's a great album. And they were heavily influenced by Slayer. And it's wonderful how our influences back before the technology we have today reach shore to shore. It's really great. And then to see how they interpret things in other places. So there's really something brilliant in the air in Germany, because this next band is the debut album of Kreator. And this song is off of Endless Pain, and it is Storm of the Beast. Now, Kreator made its mark on me. It was amazing hearing these influences from the year before coming back at you from another part of the world. And that's exactly how I saw it. And my friends, too, we couldn't believe the great extreme skill and intensity that heavy metal music went into such a bigger, deeper, darker, chaotic, extreme, powerful level than was ever reached before. Everything was brand new and ripe for the taking. The exploration of it was even more gratifying. Walking around the streets with your boombox, playing these tapes with your friends, searching for adventure, finding your place in the world, and loving that free, energetic, raw, primitive, creative mind to just dwell and create your whole world out of your music and the creative environment you were making with it, you and your friends. What a great bond it is. And that's the bond we need to keep in heavy metal music in this day and age still. We got to remember these bands always and forever, people. Okay? So there's always been, I guess, debate I've always heard through times, through years. The big four, okay? We went through the first three that everybody considers, right? Sodom, Destruction, Kreator. Germany's big four. I always hated that whole big four shit. I thought it was garbage. I hated it. But anyway, okay, it was a media thing. They stuck with it. So there was always like, well, who would be the number 4 band for Germany's big four? A lot of people pick a lot of different bands, but I'm just going to make this short and sweet. This next pick I picked because it definitely had this heavy power, feeling like heavy chains on your bones, rattling sound of its speed thrash and its intensity. The vocals, there must have been something so brilliant in the water, the food, the blood, the heritage of Germany that made vocals, when these tyrants were doing their vocals and they were getting these pitches, the music became even more extraordinary to the ear. And as a vocalist, I'm highly influenced by these bands. And this band is especially influential to me with what I do in Bloodstorm, also in Denison and parts of Agoraphobia as well. It's my musical environment. So this is my number 4 out of Germany's big four. Love it or hate it. They are coming at you off of Iron Angel's Hellish Crossfire. We are heavy metal soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, there they go. My fourth pick for Germany's Big Four was always Iron Angel for me. Now, this book I'm holding in my hands, this was a book that was very influential for me. It was one of the first ones I got. I'll leave it up here. I'll leave those to think and guess what it may be. I'll explain later, but it's influential. My head started seeing some of this sort of thing floating around bookstores, secondhand, and in my old neighborhood. Never really quite knew what it was, but a lot of these bands were getting so much of their satanic and occult themes, their covers, demons, wizards, everything that could be considered dark, necromantic, and evil at the time. And there was so much of it. It was a rich subject. And I accredit Venom to making that so much more forefront for a lot of these other bands to take that and make it even more, to amplify it 150 times fold, whatever. But it was definitely a huge influence, and it was a very compelling subject matter to get, more into your heart and your mind, combined with reading some of the lyrics. Maybe they were sort of more layman term, and they were meant to be more readable and enjoyable for, younger crowds and being listenable. But it worked because it hooked me. So this next pick, it's going to be out of England. And I can remember having this cassette, walking down the street. It was Westmoreland Street. Westmoreland and Rose Hill is the intersection I lived at. We're walking down Westmoreland Street. And this guy, Frankie, who's one of the guys we hung out with, he had this tape. I saw the cover, and it was a demon, of course, holding a wonderful battle axe. Well, the album title and the band alone, we just said, unwrap that. Let's smell the fresh plastic of the tape. When you open it, you get that nice plastic smell. Never been used yet, but you're getting ready to put it in your radio. Boy, was it exciting to play this record. And I will always remember that stamped in my mind. This is how I heard this album for the first time. And thanks to my friend Frankie, he bought it. I made a copy of it that night, along with one of the other bands I'm going to play later too. But it never left my heart, this band. And I had to pick it because of that memory with one of my close buddies back in my old neighborhood. So he helped introduce this band to me. And I even think this band, if I remember a little bit of their history, I think they had punk background. Either the band had a punk background and changed their name and their whole image to this, what I'm going to present to you, or some of the members may have come from it. But anyway, I found them to be very, I found them to have a bit of a Motorhead sort of hardcore element, but a raw, dirtier sort of Metallica, Slayer put in there, and then boom, you get this record. And it's one of the ones that actually shaped me into being this kind of being. Well, without further ado, my fellow tyrants, let's get to it. Out of England, this is Onslaught's Power from Hell.
Satan, the Grand Master of Hell. I have come to bear witness to the reformation of those who disbelieve. Succumb or feel my wrath, so it
Power from Hell. When you hear Cy's vocals, you feel it. Can't you just feel that power inside of you? And I got to say, this album, this is one of those albums among many, of course, but definitely one album I never ever skip a song when I play it. When I start that album intro, it goes all the way to the end, switch on, all the way to the end. No skipping any stops on that album for me. What a brilliant album. Very influential. And I still got my t-shirt somewhere buried in my house. So now I want to come back to America. Seeing how influences grew in 1984 and how things were beginning to rev up, being influenced by a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal coming out of England and some European bands as well, America's development was really starting to get a good, frontline running mate with Europe. There was quite a few bands that actually could do it even more better with Extremity. And this band is out of Florida. And I just, for a long time, Florida for me, once some of these bands in the early 80s weren't really doing anything, weren't active in Florida, And I just got to say, when all this death metal rise of all these Florida death metal bands in the 90s, I got to say, I'll be honest, I was not on board with any of it. I actually thought it was weaker than what was produced the decade before. That's just my opinion, but I didn't see anything any better or able to be complementary yet to what had just transpired in the 80s. And this one band here is very, very influential in so many levels, with a lot of musicians and people that are fans of music. This band, at least people know about them enough to know quite a few songs and traits and character traits of this band. And I got to say, they bought bullets, spikes, chains, studs, and leather to a whole new degree. They bought their eccentric violence, their passionate, erotic chaos, and glistening heavy metal, necromantic, nihilistic infatuation of its own chaotic energy. It's just brilliant, start to finish, as performers on stage and shining through on their music. And this album was their debut album, and I have to say, my brother bought this album home from his friend Tony, and it was on cassette, so I got to make a copy of it right away. So I played that on my stereo at home, and when I heard this dynamic voice, once again, it had to be something with the Judas Priests and the Bruce Dickinsons of the world. Guys like this just took that music to such an extreme level that their potency, to me, surpassed my earlier heroes. Not that I've forgotten my earlier heroes, but this individual, when he sang on these songs aggressively as they were played, it surpassed them. At the time period, it was just sheer brilliance for the love and energy of it. So, getting to hear this in my brother's old bedroom on Westmoreland Street, played full volume, of course, like everything else. Remember, it was very hot in the room, and it was shut the lights out and played this. And another one of those albums, start to finish. You don't skip a song. I don't skip a song. Brilliant production. The musicianship is sheer brilliance, I think. Dynamic guitar playing, dual guitars. They to me, they are the Adrian Smith and Dave Merry of extreme metal. So, out of Florida on their debut self-titled album, this turned me into this tonight, folks, with all their pure mayhem. This is Nasty Savage's Gladiator!
in fear, the ways of life are revealed. Armageddon is not far away. Thrash! Body struggle, flesh and blood. Dread the battle, corruption begins. Live or die, another day. No self-control, I am insane. Gladiator, gladiator,
I hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. Nasty Savage. I mean, they're just absolutely brilliant craft at what they do, taking all levels of influences and just vesseling them back out into such wonderful heavy metal chaos and aggression. Brilliant album, start to finish. Once again, every album I've picked tonight is an album, I got to say, I would play start to finish without skipping any songs. And that's how I rated these albums tonight. That was one factor I used into picking a lot of these. So it was very difficult. So bear with me. Now, also, most of you probably have heard the Speed Kills compilation albums. I'm assuming that most of you have at one point or another. Well, the very first one that came out was a game changer for me and my friends too. Seeing that, because there was bands on there we didn't get to hear yet until that album came out. Well, most of them we already heard of, but getting to hear them for the first time, this one band, they're obviously a very potent influence on me. And I got to say, for the record, when I heard this album, for me, there was something about the sound and tone of this album that just sounded like it was in one of the most desolate tombs on earth, with the most oldest encrusted bones used in rituals. That's the vision that came into my head. That this band probably recorded this album out of it. Just sound that, that's how gripping it was. The sound, the really sort of dark, demonic, unsettling tone to the whole album was so embedded in my mind that, truth be told, I used this album as part of a tone for using the Agent Matheku's, one of the frequency tones on the record. I used this as a blueprint for that album. So off of that Speed Kills album, well, I'm just going to get to it. They were called the Italian Venom. This is Bulldozer's Insurrection of the Living Damn. Wow, what an explosive album that was. And that was the song that introduced me to Bulldozer off of that Speed Kills compilation album. And it was put out for Music from Nations. And that's the version I had. And I also got to hear Howl's Eve for the first time. That's when I got to hear Metal Merchants. That's right. Because that started the record off. Anyway, that was a great comp album. And then after hearing that, I started to pick up other comp albums because of that record. And me and my friends, when we heard it all together, it was actually my friend Rich Tickner from high school that I introduced him. He was over my house for the weekend, and I had a copy of it because my brother's friend had it over, and once again, I got to copy it. So we listened to it, and he became a Bulldozer fan too. We did that for each other. So I'm going to go back now to England, to one of my godfathering influenced bands that started to pump the black-hearted blood that's inside of me, Chris G. Mazzaris. You see before you, one of my four cornerstones of music, the iconic trio that created black metal. And we know who that is from England. So their album Possessed came out this year, which was absolutely fantastic. It was a very dark album. I thought it was their most dark, occult, satanically. It was. There was something about that was vile. Maybe the songs. Voyeur. That's not really that much of a satanic song or nothing like that. But I think it was the sound, especially from the track Possessed on that album. And that album came out there, that was huge. And that was something that I would actually put on the list. But they put out a comp album this year. And the songs that were on that comp album hit me 5 times harder than any song off of the Possessed album. And that's the truth. So it's extremely difficult to pick one song for Venom in this year. But this song, I want to keep the rhythm going because This song, I believe, encompasses the absolute ultimate black metal power of 1985 by the pioneers of the genre, hands down, Tyrants. Without them, things would probably be a bit different. So let's pay homage to Venom. This is off of From Hell to the Unknown. This is Senile Decay.
Bony face and lips its wretched hand, it tells its tale of history and hell life's contraband. Ether smells from its lips, its eyes begin to bleed. Lost the elixir of life, baby maggots feed. Loved by children, oh, if they could know the hell. Hair declining, light declining, vomits at its own sweet smell. Laughing at its ripe melasma, skin begins to rot and peel. Gravel and dry catamenia, open wounds that never heal.
Nothing for me can compare to Venom. They'll be forever marked in anything I ever do musically. Venom is a big piece of my skeletal structure, of my being. So they're a part of my heart, just like Motorhead is. Something I always do will encompass that band, because for me, there has been nothing better before them in this genre until they started it. And that's just my opinion, folks. Well, I want to keep things now still in the European nations. So this year, this next band whom I played in my 1984 list, and I can't speak enough about this band being a huge influence on me. They actually had 2 releases out this year, just like Venom did. I mean, these bands were they were just volcanic fire with music. And I think it was the richest time and the most pinnacle in their careers for this extreme music in 1985. Most of them. I would say. And I think this next band is definitely one of them. And they are still here today among us, just absolutely curdled in our ears, rooted in our hearts and minds, condemning our souls to its own black science of created musical avocated necromancy and its own storyline of events. Creates a beautiful landscape of extreme death-like music and its atmosphere. So this is none other out of Switzerland. Celtic Frost put out 2 releases that year, obviously to Megatherion, which is I've always seen at least in somebody's top 20, if not top 10. But they're huge. That album is just gigantic, start to finish, and endless love for that album and that band. But they did the Emperor's Return EP that year, and I found on that EP there was a song on there that most people didn't get to hear till way later. And I always pondered, why did they not put that song on that release when it first came out? So I think it needs to get credit where credit is due, because this song I find to be, it is the absolute lost Ark of the Covenant of the Celtic Frost discography and songs. This is a beautiful journey that makes me want to journey into the occult sciences like such. This song is off the Emperor's Return recording sessions. This is Journey into Fear.
Flames out your feet.
that song I always thought was just the lost artifact of just all their songs, everything. That song it's phenomenal. I had to play that one. It was so difficult to pick between Emperor's Return and To Make a Therion, because To Make a Therion from start to finish is absolute brilliance. Okay, but this song was the lost article out of everything that they've done, in my opinion. Glad you have enjoyed it. I want to keep this rolling now. We're coming back to America, back to the United States. We're going to go out to California for this band, okay? And I feel this band amplified everything from Motorhead, Venom, and Slayer, and Metallica, and Celtic Frost. You know, all those combined, Voivod, Merciful Fate, all those bands combined, and they put it into a whole huge vessel and just like mixed it with just axes, swords and blades, you know. And this next band I'm going to introduce, I got a little short story here. I actually, when I got this album, bought it on my own accord, because when I saw the cover, I absolutely just had to have it based on the logo alone. And reading the song title, seeing the pictures, there was no question I had to have it. I knew I was going to love it just at the sight of it, because bands like that influenced me to appear this way, just like Nasty Savage and Voivod and Celtic Frost and Venom have done the same thing for me. This band has done it too, as well. So I bought this record, and I had to show my friend Rich, who was one of my thrash metal, death metal, extreme metal, you know, entrepreneurs in school. We were like best buddies. And I got this record, and I had to bring it in and show him. I didn't care if I was going to get in trouble. I was already under suspicion, like I've said before, from school. So I just didn't care that day. I was so excited for this record. I didn't care about the consequence. And so I had to show him. So I bought the record in. I'm sitting in classroom, and at the time, I'm a freshman in school, this freshman year, going into freshman year, because 85 was still a freshman until summer. But anyway, okay, so I was in my homeroom. I bought the record in, and there's my friend, this girl named Kim Gibbons, who I'm still friends with, and she's probably not even here on Facebook because she's married with a family. A lot to do. Anyway, she was tall girl, cheerleader, okay? It was one that you never would expect that would even be interested in looking at anything heavy metal at all, okay? She just didn't have that about her, all right? So, but she was cool, and she was my friend, and she sat behind me. So I had the record, and she's sitting there talking to a girl. So she's sitting up on the desk, just before Miss Lapira comes in. That was her homeroom teacher, the one that put me up in front of the class and tried to make an example out of me, which didn't work because I became better. So anyway, she's like, "Let me see that, Chris." She pulled the album out, reading the lyrics, looking at the picture. Her friends are coming over, like, "Kim, what is that?" Next thing you know, Miss Lapira comes in the classroom, sees Kimmy holding up the album, looking at it, sees the logo, and knew it was me. I got, "Mr. Gamble, what is that?" I can't get that. She got in trouble for having it. I got in trouble for showing it to her. She asked for it. I didn't give it to her, but I was at fault anyway. Whatever. So she took it, saw it, detention. 1 month detention just for having this record in school. But I did not care, because this made me what I am. And most of you, I believe, would feel the power of every song, note, guttural scream, satanic theme, all of its brutal satanic witchcraft and brutal imagery. The fire, the blood just poured out of this album, this debut album. And I think these guys, in my personal opinion, they were the start of death metal in a sense. They were the ones that kind of took the death metal term and ran with it at this year. I think so. So this off the debut album, off of Possessed Seven Churches, this song, Evil Warriors. Oh, hell yeah. How can you not be an evil warrior when you see that record and hold it in your hand? Flawless album, start to finish. And I just got to say, Mike, up in Buffalo, that one's for you. And like you, the guitar leads are why I picked this certain song, because I thought they were the most brilliant put into this song on the album as well. And I got to say this, I saw one of my old neighborhood friends that I grew up with, played D&D with, went to grade school with, ran up and down the streets of Kensington. He's in the chat, and I'm glad I've seen him. Mr. Paul Purcell is one of my friends that ran the streets with me, playing all this music and being crazy and insane, sort of out of control a-holes running around the streets of Kensington back in these days. Paul, remember when you, John, and Frank, and whoever else with us, you, Mike Shunk or Johnny, you guys would knock for me, everybody, Paul and them would have to throw a rock up at my window. They said he used to wait for the song to be between songs, whatever record I was playing, and they would throw rocks up at the window to get me to come to the window. Hey man, we're here, and then we would all come upstairs, play D&D, and play heavy metal music, and that's what we did. And even our girlfriends used to do all this too. So it was a very good time. Paul, it's beautiful to have you here, old friend, and I'm glad I still have guys like you that understand me, and we're just tight as ever. Thank you for everything. So, Paul, this next one, I want to put this one out to my buddy Paul, because I definitely remember this next pick, just coincidence. Okay, there's a little story that goes with this next pick. When I got this record, I used to hang some of my records off the ceiling. The covers, I would take the slip covers of the vinyls and put them in another cover and put them away in a crate in my room, and I would hang them from the top of my ceiling. I had drop ceiling, so the record would just kind of hang there and just kind of twirl. I didn't want to thumbtack them to the wall. Okay, so I don't know why, but that's what I did. But I got this record, and I used to play it a lot, because this guitar player and vocalist, of course, well, the band, is a huge influence for me. They are from Canada. And when I used to play this record a lot, it was so loud you could hear it echo down the street, because I do remember Paul, John, and Frank saying that they could hear it because I had a parking lot across the street from my house. So there's a railroad, and then there's a parking lot, and I had a side window, and one of my speakers would go kind of towards the side window, and you'd hit the parking lot wall. It would bounce down the street. You could hear it. They said they used to hear my stereo all the way up B Street when I was playing this. So this record here, yeah, I see you, Paul. So this record, reminds me of my buddies coming down the street to come knock for me. But anyway, this band is from Canada. Huge influence for me. They are the absolute. To me, they were. Well, the guitarist always said he considered himself second to Slayer. I always considered them better than Slayer, even though most people will disagree. But for me, the reason why I thought them a little bit better than Slayer was because I thought the riffing style with the vocals was just a half step more intense than Slayer. That's just how my ears heard it. Slayer is brilliant, people. Hell Awaits came out that year. I mean, it was absolutely flawless record. Don't misunderstand me. I love early Slayer. They're brilliant. There's no denying that. But I picked these guys because they were just a pinch more, and they had something more to offer. And this is really when I first heard them. And then I heard the Armed and Dangerous EP after that. But this we're going to play, Francisco's going to play the promo video because two reasons. One, I always thought it was great because my friend Paul and them, I had a videotape, and this video we're going to play was on that compilation videotape. So we used to hang at my house. My mom and dad didn't care. My friends were there hanging. We used to play these albums and videos and do D&D in my house all the time. It was, that's just my place. My house was the place to go. But this was one of the videos we actually used to watch at my house with my friend Paul and a lot of other people there. So it's kind of cool that he's here. So anyway, and secondly, I love the fact that in this video, you see a girl with a black mohawk. And I kind of like it. You see it for about 2 seconds. But I loved it. And third, most important, I just want to say this. Anthrax hated the video because they made fun of it, which made me love it even more and hate Anthrax more after this. Because what's his name? Joey Delabonte, Delatana, whatever the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles name is, the bass player. He made fun of this band, made me love them more, and drift away from Anthrax after these comments. But this is Razors off of Evil Invaders. This is Evil Invaders. Razor. And they had Executioner's song out that year too. So they had 2 albums out. It was difficult to pick, but Evil Invaders was my first introduction, and the cover was great. It was like kind of monikered after Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Terminator. All those cyborg movies were becoming popular after that year, were they not? Just like all the fantasy adventure was. So now, staying up in Canada, because I want to keep this moving. I realize I want to keep this moving, people. We're staying up in Canada for this next pick. This next band, this is their 3rd album. And to me, they were flawless all the way up to this album. To me, after this album, they kind of, I think things changed for them, perhaps. But this album, I thought, was better than the album before it, and then better than their debut. And I remember hearing it on 94 WYSP's Metal Shop here in Philadelphia. They were advertising the release for this band's album. And when I heard it played on the radio, and also a song from, I guess, the recording session, because it sounds exactly the same sound of the album. The song was on the Speed Kills compilation that introduced me to Bulldozer. So from this band, their third album, and highly influential, another band with their swords and their women and their slaying and their whole metal dedication, which was higher and stronger than ever on their third try here at 1985. Hearing it for the first time, I adored this band and influenced still today. John Reese's one of my favorite guitarists, and Danny Beeler's vocals soar beyond a dragon's breath's strike. I mean, this man's lightning and thunder when he screams. So this is Exciter's third album. This is off the Long Live the Loud. This is Long Live the Loud. Long live the loud, ladies and gentlemen. May you all be loud and proud, just as that song says. Stand on that wreckage and scream it. Long live the loud, people. So anyway, we're staying up in Canada one more time for this next band. This next pick out of Canada, once again, Canada becomes this wonderful treasure trove of bands that are breaking through ever so gently through America, but creeping into the cracks of the underground scene, seeping right into our pores in our heavy metal community and society here. At that time in Philadelphia, we were feeling the Canadian metal. We definitely were. And this next pick, I chose this album because two things that it reminded me of big time. Number one, it always thought of the Evil Dead movie when I would listen to this album. And I love that movie. Okay. So that made this album made me think of that movie. Secondly, it was interesting when the intro of this album started, it's speaking words out of this book. This is actually a copy of original language manuscript of the Al-Azith, which is supposedly the real Necronomicon piece. Now, I had a cult advisor many years ago that I used to visit and, well, do a lot of talking and research and learning from him. He was an experienced man, and he actually knew someone during the Second World War when he was in. After the war, he stayed over in Europe, and he was in Egypt, and he met individuals there. And apparently there was somebody he knew there he met that had a copy of the Al-Azif. And he made a copy of it. And it has like the original sort of scribing in it. Now, I can't read it, but I wanted it just for the sake of, saying, check this out. So this band had me interested more into the occult, more into the dark world of horror, and absolute heavy metal necromancy. It brought the darkness. And this is, I think, a great death thrash album for a debut. So out of Canada, this is Sacrifice, Torment, and Fire. The Awakening Sacrifice.
We will cause the dead to rise and devour the living. We will give to the dead power over the living, that they may outnumber the living. One by one we will take you.
Yes, tyrants far and near. Remember the evil of the Alasif, the Necronomicon, and enjoy sacrifice, torment, and fire while you read it. Because I do. Now, we're coming back into America. And another great event that took place in America was Combat Records did The Ultimate Revenge. And we all know it. There's no question we know it here, especially on this channel. So I know my boss, Francisco, plays it much, as well as my comrade, Carl Necrowolf, whatever entity he chooses to be that day. But we all know that video, yes? So this next choice, this next pick, is another California-based band. And it was my first introduction into actually hearing them, was their live performance on the Ultimate Revenge video. And just like the rest of my friends that I got to watch videos with, this was our introduction to them. And for the first time, the title of it said the brotherhood that we had among us when it was our school friends, our neighborhood friends, our love of this music, and what we brought to each other's emotions as friends, and the excitement we were going through. We fed off of each other, and we were bonded by blood, right? So this next track is off of the Ultimate Revenge. This is Exodus performing Metal Command.
All right, this next song is another fast one, but aren't they all? This one's called Metal Command.
the prisoners of war. Tournaments of terror will flash into the floor. Flashing through the channel, flashing through the soul. There's nothing now. Time to break the battle tonight. The battles take a stand and open.
Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to just say, being 14 years old and hearing all these albums for the first time, right when you're 14, and you're getting into your early sort of stage of like, what's this manhood thing all about and figuring yourself out. But you know, what was great about it at that time period? We were no shortage of excitement and energy in those years. And it really was a wonderful time to be in 1985. You had every level of excitement with no hold bars. You didn't criticize. Everything was up for grabs. Everything was there for the taking, and everything was there to enjoy. It was as much enthusiasm as you can. And the nice thing about being at that age, making new friends and having your old friends, just like the songs, being bonded by blood, being bonded by music, we had art and comics. We had great TV shows that weren't, trying to be politically correct or had no political agenda. They were fun. Movies were fun. I mean, we had John Carpenter films that were just brilliant and upcoming. Terminator was a new thing. We had fantasy adventure movies, Fire and Ice. I mean, Mad Max. We had Evil Dead. We had Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. We had a rich entertainment culture that wasn't corrupted yet. And it was exciting, and everything was still finding its way. And it was digging into every pore and orifice, anything to get into. And it got into the heart and soul of individuals like me. And I'm sure all of you, or most of you at least, there's some element of that about us that we have a bind. And out of the arts that our primordial instinct can create, out of music, it spoke such great volumes at the age of 14. And when you got a brotherhood of friends and a mutual understanding, it just gives you that much more of rebellious freedom, and it gives you a sense of empowerment and a stronger voice in a world that's kind of like a chaotic noise because it doesn't understand what's deep in your head. If you're a little bit off of the beaten track of more conformed thinking or the way schools try to institutionalize you and things like that. So I always look to music and art and my friends that were involved in it. And you create such a bigger and better bond through this music. And I got to say, don't ever forget your friends. Don't ever forget where you came from. Don't forget your things that give you passion and love in life. Music for me is my highest passion. And it helps me create my art form in so many directions. And I love to be able to share it with my friends, old and new, still to this day. And it's starting to turn me into this character before you years later when it finally came out. So I get to really speak my soul tonight to all of you about 1985. And there's definitely no shortages of albums and bands. I can easily do a 3-part show of this. It was tough just to do 15. But I picked the ones that were generally the ones that stuck with me the absolute most critical in that year at the age of 14 with my friends and the social development of school and things going on around me and what was developing in art school. And I just want to show a few things. I was, like many of you, were probably making art like this on your books and copybooks, right? So these were some things I was doing in art school. I had art books that had all these drawings. These are like a lot of Dungeons and Dragons type drawings I used to do. They're really faded because they're very, very old. But I was doing things like that out of my art book. I even made an Iron Maiden Killers that's very old as well. I did this on the side, with my friends to make all this art because it expressed my music. It expressed my love and passion for what my soul was holding. And somewhere's in the back of my mind, I was like, what is this all about? What's all this about? Magic and music. It's developing more and more and creates such a character in you and enriches your life so much. And I'm proud and very honored I got to live in those times that I did. And I'm proud and honored to be able to share these experiences with all you people in like 1985. So I want to thank you all for being here. I have one more song in closing. It's very difficult to choose, but I had to choose this band because they're highly influenced in all the music that I've done, not just one of my bands, but in all of it. And it encompasses a part of music that I think should never be overlooked or missed. And it should be, I like to acknowledge and appreciate, with women in the genre. So back into Belgium on their third album. This is from their last album. And then they were no more. But in my heart and soul, Kate will forever be one of the most dominant forces fronted female heavy metal fronted bands ever. So off of their third and final album, out of Belgium, this is Acid. Off of Engine Beast, this is the last track, Satan's Delivery.
Priest from the east, who was settled down in the west. Is he a man or is he a beast? As long as he lives, I won't find any rest. His soul is one of the strongest bastions used by the bulldog legions. He's Satan's delivery. He's wide-eyed, open, no good to see. He has more powerful weapons. For his hand, anything could happen. It is his blue ball of transition, which is his storm into the fifth dimension.
All right. Hello
There you
to
go, Paul.
all you lovely ladies and gentlemen in the chat. I know you enjoyed that because I've just been back here pushing all the buttons and been headbanging pretty much the entire time, except when I get up to go get a drink of water or to go piss or something, But anyway, fantastic job again, Chris. I don't have to tell you, but I'll tell you. Fantastic job. Great episode again, 1985. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thanks to everybody that commented during the chat. That's awesome. It makes the show, when the show is interactive like that, it makes it even better. Because Chris, while he's doing the show, and I don't explain this every time, but while he's doing the show, he can't really look at the comments, so he goes back and actually watches it and looks at all the comments.
True.
Later on, and he'll reply to any comment that you may leave. So once this stream is over and it's just sitting there on YouTube, you can go leave comments all you want, and Chris will reply to each and every single one of them. I know because I get every notification for every comment that comes through. All right. So, Hey, one thing I mentioned in the chat, Chris. I don't want to keep us here too long because I want these to be just about the playlist. So what I suggested was I'll set up another stream that we can start if you have time in 15 minutes, maybe for about an hour. Just do a little recap of the show. If anybody has any questions, if anybody has comments, if anybody wants to talk about 1985 in general, we can do that if you're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do that. I'll send that. I'll send Carl an invite. Maybe Carl can join us, and we can talk about that. So if you guys in the chat are down for that, join us in about look on just look on the Joaba channel, and you can, if you haven't followed the channel yet, go ahead and do that. And also, as a reminder, go back and watch every one of if you enjoyed this playlist, you're going to enjoy every one of them that he's done so far. 1980 to today, 1985. 1986 is next.
Yeah, man. I got to tell you, Francisco,
right.
I could have easily done a 3-part for this year. It was so hard. Hard.
I know.
And I got a list here of honorable mentions.
yeah, exactly. And we can talk about that in the after show,
sure.
I guess you could say.
My old friend. I just wanted to let you know, my old friend that I used to pal around with was in the chat.
Yeah,
my buddy Paul
right?
Purcell. Yeah, I went to school, grade school with him. He was always at my house, so he knows.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys who ran around, did all this. It was just kind of nice to see, old friends like that pop in. So I'm glad.
No, absolutely. That. Takes you back to that. Takes you back in time.
I can see it with them. Yeah.
Again, if you haven't watched the previous ones, go back and do it. Go back and do it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. Each one keeps getting better. And I say it every single time. And it does take some work. Trust me. The second Chris is done with this one, he's already thinking about 1986.
Already started.
And so it does take. He puts a lot of thought and effort into this, and then gotta find all the videos and all that crap. But anyway, it's fun to do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. So that's why I keep asking Chris back all the time. So
I'm glad you like it, boss.
Of course, every time we come back, I mean, his episodes are usually 3 to 4 weeks apart, just to give people time to check out all the episodes.
It's usually been about the end of the month, like the last week of the month is usually when you have it scheduled.
Yeah, something like that. So just keep a lookout. So yeah, we would be doing an after show where we keep talking and yapping and all that. But again, thanks again. If this is your first time here, hey, appreciate it. You kick ass. Hopefully you come back.
Thank you all so much.
And so I'll set up another stream. So look for it on the chat. I mean on the channel. Thanks. Yeah. So you'll get to. So yeah, come on back and join us. We'll be hanging out, just talking, recapping, and talking about 1985.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't born in 1985, you'll hear about 1985 from people that were there.
Got a whole other list to say.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll cover all that. We'll cover a bunch of other shit. 1985. Back to the Future, one of my all-time favorite movies, 1985.
And Francisco, Betsy said she really enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
And she went back and read the chat. She appreciated it. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Great. There you go.
She said she's going to try to watch tonight.
Go watch the episode, Chris interviewing Betsy Bitch. All right. So I'm going to leave you. Ruby, you rule. Thanks for. Oops. There you go.
Ruby.
Born in 88. Ooh.
Where's Rosalinda?
She was in here a while ago. So let's cut out. I'm gonna play a live Bloodstorm track to get out of here, and while that's going on, I will try to set up the next stream. So hopefully,
I'm here, boss.
Hope to see you there. Again,
I'm gonna grab a Pepsi.
Yeah, we'll chat in a little while.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Here's live Bloodstorm at CBGB's. Legendary.
Thanks, everybody.
Unity, we are one. We will show the world America has might. All right, warriors. This is for those that appreciate that ancient, rancid death of blackened death and destruction. This track is also off of the Pestilence from the Dragon Star CD. It is called Successor to the Plague Gods.